If this sound has found you now, it is not by chance. It is because there is a number calling your name in the silence. 1111. And a door opening in a place your eyes have yet to reach. The universe has delicate ways of whispering, a clock that insists, a message that arrives at the exact moment, a thought that returns like the tide. And deep down, you know, the connection between you hasn't ended. It has merely changed its clothes, hidden to breathe, but it remains alive in the invisible. There are days when silence weighs more than any farewell. The quiet phone becomes a mirror of your longing. You take a deep breath and try to move on, but a silly detail, a song, a scent, a name, opens the window again through which he enters without asking for permission. It's as if life conspires to remind you there is something between you that doesn't fit into rationality. And when the clock strikes 11:11, your heart understands before your mind. Someone thinks of someone. One thread pulls another thread. The soul recognizes the soul. If this vibration has already touched your heart, subscribe now and share this space with those who need to remember what is sacred. This is not about content. It is about spiritual rescue, about looking inward and listening to what your intuition has been trying to say for a long time. Stay, sit down. Allow yourself to be guided by what cannot be explained, but that changes everything when you accept it. Today, we will walk through a territory that many fear because it cannot be measured in logic. 11:11 as the key to an inevitable reunion. I'm not talking about quick magic or empty promises. I'm talking about synchronicity, alignment, a call that, when it arrives, gently and profoundly shifts your path. I'm talking about that feeling that the story between you hasn't ended. It has just gone underground, like a seed that needs darkness to germinate. Does he feel when you feel? Is the universe adjusting the hands of the clock? Or is 11:11 just a mirror for you to remember yourself before any return? I know uncertainty hurts. The mind wants explanations, deadlines, maps. But 11:11 is not a contract. It is an invitation. It is the crack through which a light crosses the rigidity of the ego and calls you back to center. It is the reminder that twin flames are not a race to see who reaches the other first. They are a path of returning to oneself until the external meeting becomes a consequence, not an obsession. If your soul trembles when you see this number, perhaps it is because it recognizes the password to a passage you have been postponing, crossing fear, letting go of control, trusting in the timing of life. Feel with me for a moment. What if 11:11 were the confirmation that nothing true is ever lost? What if it were the silent proof that the bond you share already exists in a realm prior to the unread and unanswered messages? What if the distance, as harsh as it seems, were organizing something greater than your current understanding? There are questions that serve to open space. Today, let's allow them to work for us. Before we move on, I make a soul-to-soul request. If this beginning has touched a place that words cannot reach, subscribe, like, and share with those who need this breath. With every person that awakens, the portal widens for all of us. This channel is a circle of gentle fire. It doesn't burn, it illuminates, and you are not alone here. In today's script, we will enter the heart of 11:11 as a portal of reconnection. Why does it appear in your key moments? What does it try to tell you when the longing hurts more? How to distinguish the call of the soul from the noise of attachment? And above all, how to walk back to the center so that the reunion with him, with yourself, with purpose, ceases to be anxiety and becomes inevitable through alignment. I won't give you shortcuts. I will offer you direction. Because what your soul asks for is not haste, it is presence. Breathe. You are exactly where you need to be. Sometimes, destiny doesn't knock on the door. It lights up numbers in front of you until you understand that the key has always been in your hand. And when two souls recognize each other, time learns to wait. 11:11 doesn't rush. It synchronizes. You wonder when the tide turned. At what minute that gaze, so full of promise, got lost in a distance you can't measure. 11:11 appears, and for a second, Everything that was tumultuous seems to align, but the mind races, raises theories, tries to guess what the heart already knows without explaining. You feel longing, and at the same time, you sense that the story hasn't closed its pages. It's a strange feeling, like having your suitcase at the door without knowing where to go. You hear his silence, and behind it, there is another sound, that of your own voice asking you not to abandon it again. Perhaps you have tried to be strong, to move on, to fill the spaces with noise, work, distractions. But when the city quiets down, and the traffic lights become constellations, that presence returns to circulate through your thoughts like wind that knows where to enter. You remember phrases, simple gestures, the laughter that broke the weight of the days, and you wonder, if all of this was real, why does it now seem so far away? And if it is far away, why does the universe insist on the signs? Why just 11:11? Why just today? Why just now? Deep down, what hurts is not just his absence. It is the doubt about yourself. Were you too much? Were you not enough? Did you show your heart too soon? Too naked? Too pure? You replay dialogues, search for clues, try to find a flaw that explains the pause. Just that the soul's love does not move like a predictable script. It dances in its own time. Sometimes the step is a retreat to create space. Sometimes the step is a turn for awareness to see from a different angle. There are things that reason only understands when the soul has already learned. The 11:11 comes in as a call, not for you to wait with your arms crossed, but to remember where the strength that sustains this journey comes from. The number does not promise reunions out of whim. It points to alignments. It appears on days when you almost give up believing that there is an intelligence guiding everything. And yet, when you see it, you breathe differently. Your spine adjusts, your chest opens, the urge to chase diminishes. Not because love has ended, but because for a moment, you regain your center. And from that place, the question changes. It is no longer, when will he return? But rather, how do I return to myself so that any return makes sense? It is natural to feel fear. Fear that it won't happen. Fear that it will happen and hurt again. Fear of projecting. Fear of being lost. You are not. Fear is just the body asking for care, asking for presence. When you embrace what you feel, without judging yourself, without shame, something reorganizes. The pain does not disappear magically, but it gains shape, name, voice, and when pain gains a voice, it no longer dominates. The 11:11 then ceases to be superstition and becomes an intimate ritual, a small pause to remember to breathe slowly, to place your hands on your own heart, to sincerely ask what you need now. Rest, water, silence, prayer, truth. You will find yourself between two impulses, to run to seek the other's confirmation, or to stay to hear the confirmation of your essence. Between the urgency of the answer and the depth of listening, between the impulse to prove and the courage to be. It is precisely at this threshold that the portal opens. Destiny does not demand performance. It asks for coherence. The inevitable reunion that is often spoken of is not a ready scene waiting on the horizon. It is a path that is built when you align internal steps, when your energy stops begging and starts to radiate. Perhaps you are imagining if he thinks of you when the night settles. Perhaps you wonder if he feels the call and struggles not to answer. Perhaps all of this is happening, and you will never know through ordinary means. But there is a way to know that matters. Your peace. If the 11:11 finds you and brings you back to yourself, there is a true thread being woven. If it finds you and leads you to despair, it is a call for adjustment, for honesty with yourself, for caring for expectations that hurt. Prepare your heart. We will cross, in the next part, the invisible layer where this conflict rests. We will look at the ego, the wounds, the silent pacts, and the illusions that confuse love with need, destiny with control. Before any reunion with the other, there is a reunion with your own light that needs to happen, and it is there that the key turns effortlessly The pain you feel is not only about what was lacking from him, it resides above all in what has ignited in you. The other's silence is a shard, but what bleeds is the ancient memory, fears of abandonment, pacts of invisibility, promises you made to yourself not to disturb. When 1111 appears, it does not come to bring someone. It comes to illuminate the room where your soul has been waiting for you. It is a numerical mirror, 2 pillars, 2 halves that look at each other, 2 forces that only pass through the door together when they leave the war. The war is almost always with the ego. The ego wants urgency, wants explanations, wants control. It says, if he returns, I can rest. The soul responds, if you return to yourself, love rests. He may have hidden behind excuses because feeling you is too strong. You reveal him, activating layers in which he still does not know how to breathe. And you too. Every twin flame is the igniter of truths. It brings closer, and to the same extent, demands courage. The shock is not punishment. It is initiation. The meeting exposes what still needs to mature, so that love is not a prison of needs, but a home of consciousness. There are illusions we confuse with love. The illusion that if it's destiny, it won't hurt. The illusion that if he loves me, he will never pull away. The illusion that if I do everything right, he won't lose me. Soul love is not a contract without friction. It is a path of refinement. Sometimes the distance is the guardian of what cannot yet be profaned by haste. There are silent pacts you need to undo. The one of silencing yourself to fit in. The one of blaming yourself for feeling. The one of pursuing to avoid looking at the void. The 1111 calls. Before opening the door to reunion, untie the knot in your own throat. Perhaps you feel him, even from afar. Perhaps he feels you and denies it. His ego wants protection. Yours wants assurance. The souls of both want presence. Runner and chaser are not fixed roles. They are masks of fear. Those who run flee from their own depth. Those who chase run from their own loneliness. When you stop running from yourself, the chase loses its meaning. And when the chase ceases, something that has been fleeing finds air. This is a revelation. The portal does not open for those who plead. It opens for those who integrate. Frequency does not lie. If you organize yourself within, the universe reorganizes outside. Sometimes with his return. Sometimes with a return to yourself so whole that you no longer need the old plot. Another revelation. 1111 often appears in moments when you almost repeat a pattern. It's like a bell ringing in the corridor of your consciousness. Choose differently now. Differently is not about hardening. It's about loving with edges. It's sitting next to your own pain and asking, which part of me is seeking comfort? What am I trying to extract from others that I have denied myself? When you honor your needs, love ceases to be a bridge stretched to the limit and becomes a sustainable path. And then the reunion stops being anxiety and becomes a consequence of coherence. His silence, as cruel as it may seem, is also a message. It can signify fear, immaturity, confusion. But, in your field, it will always mean a call to take care of yourself, to learn the language of your own heart, to polish your listening with God. The external absence invites you to internal presence. Faith, here, is not fantasy. It's practice. It's taking care of the body, of sleep, of the nourishment of the soul. It's praying without bargaining, giving thanks without proof, discerning signs without becoming addicted to them. It's letting go of control to embrace the commitment to truth. And yes, there's more. The universe does not ignore your tears. It witnesses when you lie down trying to lift the weight of a conversation that never happened from your chest. It records every yes you give to yourself, and it responds, not always as your mind idealizes, but always as your soul needs. Sometimes the answer is a vivid dream. Sometimes it's an unlikely encounter. Sometimes it's the unprecedented courage to say enough to what diminishes you. All of this is also a reunion. If something here touched a space you usually hide, write. Share in the comments what pattern you noticed you were about to repeat when 1111 appeared. Or if you prefer, just leave a password of commitment to your soul. I return to myself. Your sharing may be the beacon that someone else needed today. There's a place on the path where haste surrenders, not because desire has ended, but because the soul understands that love does not flourish under pressure. His silence, as harsh as it may be, can be a sacred workshop where life invites you to gather the pieces of your own heart, to polish what has become dull, to learn to listen to what you've been ignoring within. The pause is not punishment. It's a shelter where the spirit reorganizes until it remembers its own song. When 1111 arises, it does not say, wait for him. It says, sit with yourself. It's in this simple chair, in the middle of the house of your being, that the new beginning takes shape. Breathing is a form of prayer. Place your hand on your chest, call out your full name, and observe the wave that comes in and out. With each exhale, return to the world the need to control the script. With each inhale, receive back the presence that sustains you. Make your body an altar. Sleep when the body asks. Nourish yourself with respect. Move as one who sweeps away the remnants of old stories from the energetic field. Faith, when alive, touches the everyday. It's in the glass of water you drink with awareness, in the morning light you allow to enter, in the words you choose not to say to avoid hurting yourself. It's not glamour, it's loving discipline. Understand, surrendering is not abandoning yourself. It's not turning your back on feelings, nor fantasizing about destiny to escape reality. Surrendering is accepting that there are greater forces at work, and that what is yours by soul does not need daily proof. It needs daily coherence. When you release the anxiety of guaranteeing, a beautiful humility appears. The trust that the right time is not the time of lack. It's the time of integrity, and integrity rhymes with boundaries. Loving yourself means drawing edges that protect your field. Saying no to what diminishes you is a yes you give to love, including love for him if there's ever a reunion. Because without edges, surrender becomes dissolution. With edges, it becomes light. Do not romanticize pain. It is a teacher, not a throne. Allow it to teach you where your fear comes from, what you still try to buy with approval, which part of you seeks comfort, and then thank it and walk on. Healing does not happen in a flash. It happens in small gestures of truth. Sometimes it's responding to yourself with honesty. I miss you. Other times, it's admitting, I lost myself trying not to lose him. In this frankness, the heart stops acting and begins to exist. And existing heals. The external reunion, when it comes, will be the result of an internal reconciliation. Before two roads become one, each road needs to align with its own direction. You don't need to stop loving to return to yourself. You return to yourself to learn to love better. Returning to yourself is recognizing neglected talents, rescuing routines that elevate you, remembering what connects you to God, the prayer spoken slowly, the silence that calms, the writing that organizes, the nature that brings you back to the simple wisdom of being. And above all, it's remembering that your presence is your greatest offering. Whoever is your mirror will recognize it. There are signs that confirm the adjustment. You stop checking your phone as if praying for a miracle and start opening your own agenda as if honoring life. You realize you don't need noise to prove you're okay. Well-being begins to have roots, not showcases. You start saying yes to free time, to conversations with those who nourish you, to what you always postponed until everything is resolved. And, interestingly, it's when you stop revolving around absence that the presence of the sacred grows. It's from this place that life responds, with clean encounters, with serene signs, with a peace that does not tremble at the first breath. If at any moment 1111 catches you off guard in despair, use it as a reminder to return to center. Hands on your heart, 3 slow breaths, an honest question. What is the next act of care I can give to myself? Maybe it's drinking water. Maybe it's closing your eyes for 2 minutes. Maybe it's writing a letter you'll never send. Small acts of fidelity build great destinies. The universe entrusts what is valuable to those who take care of themselves. And soul love is value. If this part brought you a bit of grounding, share it with someone who needs to breathe together and sign up to walk with us. Here, every step is anchored. Every word is a return. Tell me, if you'd like, what simple act of care you choose today as a commitment to your healing. This is how the portal opens. When your life becomes a prayer that you practice. There's a moment when the thread changes direction. You realize you've spent too much time trying to decipher the other, when the answer has always had your face. 1111 appears again, and this time, you don't read it as a harbinger of what comes from the outside. You recognize it as a mirror of what awakens within. It's as if the universe opens the curtains and says, it's time to remember who leads. Waiting loses its tone of pleading and takes on the form of presence. You don't stand at the door asking for signs. You light up the whole house so that any arrival finds light. The higher self doesn't shout, doesn't dramatize, doesn't negotiate crumbs. It whispers clearly. And when you take a step toward it, a silent relief settles in. Those questions that tore you apart. When will he come back? What did I do wrong? What if it never happens? Give way to a new kind of questioning. What truth of mine is asking for a voice today? What boundary honors my dignity? How can I serve love without losing myself? This is how consciousness turns the key. You move from the labyrinth of neediness to the clear road of coherence. Spiritual sovereignty is not harshness. It's alignment. It's knowing that your life does not revolve around the absence of anyone. It's feeling your heart beat with respect for yourself, and from there, allowing everything that is true to come closer. When you anchor in this center, a different magnetism is born, not the kind that tries to seduce with performance, but the one that invites with peace. A peaceful soul does not rush. It radiates. And what needs to find you does, because your field has stopped vibrating despair and starts emitting clarity. You learn to choose where to place your mornings, to whom you offer your listening, which dreams are truly yours, and which were just versions of yourself trying to be chosen. You learn to say no to bonds that ask you to shrink to fit, and yes to steps that expand your truth, even if no one applauds. You discover that the signs from the heavens multiply when the gestures of the earth align. Drinking water, sleeping well, cultivating silence, praying without anxiety, working with purpose, moving the body as one who honors the temple. The portal is mystical, but the crossing is practical. You also realize that you don't need to be with him to honor love. Greater love is not limited to form. It respects essence. Sometimes the form is physical presence. Other times, it's a serene understanding that allows each one to fulfill their path without debt. The higher self knows how to love without dissolving. It knows how to bless without idealizing. It knows how to bid farewell to what has completed its cycle and still remain open to what is true. This clarity doesn't cool the heart. It protects it so that it can remain tender without breaking. Perhaps you notice subtle changes. Urgency for answers turns into curiosity for yourself. The need to prove worth transforms into silent surrender to who you already are. The compulsion for signs becomes intimate dialogue with God. There, 1111 stops being his number and becomes your password to return to center. When it appears, you close your eyes and remember, I choose my frequency. And you really choose. Breathe deeper. Correct your posture, relax your jaw, align your thoughts with truth. This alignment repeats the simple miracle. You fit back into yourself. There's a force that arises when you accept that you're not a half seeking a compliment. You are whole, and that's why you can choose mirrors that reflect you, not abysses that devour you. Whole, you listen without nullifying yourself, love without begging, touch without occupying the other's place within you. Whole, you become the fertile ground where any reunion, with him, with the new, with your own vocation, can blossom without stumbling over old pains. And if the reunion that comes is with another story, you will be ready in the same way, because you are no longer chasing characters. You are serving the plot of your soul. If you'd like, now perform a small rite. Bring to mind the image of 1111 as two columns of light. Visualize yourself walking between them with steady steps. As you cross, repeat internally, I take my place. Feel your body respond, perhaps a warmth in your hands, a lightness in your chest, a desire to cry that finally finds permission. Let it come. Embrace it. When you finish, write a single line for yourself. This is where I create from. Place this phrase where your eyes can see it every day. It's a pact with your center. And remember, when you align, he feels it, even from afar, even in silence. Perhaps he doesn't know how to name it. Perhaps he struggles for a while. Perhaps it takes time to admit it. But the language of the soul doesn't depend on immediate courage from the other to operate. She simply remains true to the truth. What shares the same energetic stature draws near. What does not, moves away without scandal. There is no punishment. There is frequency. If this shift has touched you, breathe in the gentle certainty that is being born now. You are not the part that waits in the shadows. You are the part that lights the way. And it is in the clarity of your own presence that destiny recognizes the path. We have reached the point where the night brightens from within. You have traversed questions, silences, memories, and hurried moments. And now you realize that 1111 never promised shortcuts. It offered direction. The inevitable reunion is not a stroke of luck. It is the result of a soul that places itself in orbit with its own truth. When you honor what you feel, uphold your limits, and care for what life has entrusted to you, destiny ceases to be a mirage and becomes a path. Soulful love does not need a spectacle. It recognizes itself in the fertile ground of presence, in the gentle courage of existing without pleading. Today, if the clock calls you, make a silent pact with it. When you see 1111, do not rush outward. Take a step inward. Say your full name. Remember who you are, and affirm your frequency. I choose the peace that ignites me. I choose the truth that guides me. I choose the love that preserves me. The universe responds to those who own their place. Sometimes it returns what seemed lost, polished and ready. Sometimes it delivers something entirely new, at the same stature as your yes. In all cases, there is meaning. If this journey has opened space in your breath, walk with us. Sign up now so we can continue guiding you through these crossings, where the soul is the compass. Like this video so that more hearts can find what yours has found. Share it with those you know read signs and yet walk without ground. Here, each piece of content is a thread of spiritual rescue, not to imprison you in promises, but to return you to the axis where life flows and love matures. I want to hear from you. Write in the comments, with serene honesty, what concrete commitment do you seal today with your soul when the clock strikes 11:11? It can be a simple gesture, drinking water before responding, putting down your phone to listen to your heart, writing 3 lines of truth every morning, praying without bargaining, saying no to what diminishes you. Name that commitment. Naming the sacred is to affirm the route in front of the invisible. If you feel it, also leave an anchor sign. I claim my place. It is not a catchphrase. It is an internal password. By repeating it, you remind your body and spirit that you are not adrift. The love that happens between two aligned souls does not rush, does not over-explain, does not get lost in tests. It presents itself when it finds a home, and your home is you, nurtured, whole, luminous, with clear edges and a soft heart. Perhaps the reunion with it is on the way. Perhaps the reunion is with a version of yourself that you have been avoiding. In both cases, the key is the same: presence. Do not abandon yourself to chase signs. Use the signs to deepen yourself, and if destiny brings 2 paths together again, may it be to add peace, broaden horizons, and honor what each has to fulfill. Love does not save you from life. It gives you the courage to live it wholly. Carry this certainty with you. Nothing that is of the soul is lost. It may transform. It may ask for silence. It may demand time, but what was born to expand you will never come to shrink you. Trust in the timing of the higher, in the wisdom of the body, in the call that sustains you even when the mind doubts. Trust is not blindness, it is clarity from someone who has already proven that resisting the flow hurts more than surrendering to the truth. If this message spoke to your essence, sign up now. There are other scripts coming, and perhaps one of them is exactly what you need to hear in the coming days. Like, share, and tell me in the comments what your anchoring practice will be in the next 7 days. Who knows? Your decision may be someone's lighthouse today. When you choose yourself, the universe adjusts the clock, and what is yours finds the right time to arrive.